I don't think most men are equipped today to deal with most women, especially most Western women.
Richard Cooper.
Rich Cooper.
Rich Cooper.
Mr. Richard Cooper.
Rich Cooper, welcome to the show today.
He is the author of The Unplugged Alpha.
His YouTube spaces are exploding with views and popularity.
Do you know any man in history that's thought to himself, gee, I wish my wife had slept with 42 more guys before I had married her? What do women want? They want a handsome guy that's rich and loyal. Handsome, rich, and loyal. Pick two.
Fresh and fair. Fresh. Is he alpha or beta? Emmanuel Macron.
Oh, beta.
Will Smith.
Beta.
What advice would you have for a man watching this podcast right now and he's making $50,000 a year?
Make more money, that's not enough. Canada had an identity when I was a young man, right? It's just gone downhill. There's no longer a Canadian identity.
Who did this to Canada?
Liberalism, liberal ideology, progressiveness, feminism.
What is the end goal for a man?
The end goal for a man would be...
Welcome, man. Is this your first time in Dubai?
First time in Dubai, man. Yeah, we arrived on the New Year.
Yeah.
And great city.
I
Really
feel like
like
it's
it.
your first time.
Very first time, yeah. I mean, it's a long flight. It's 13 hours straight from Toronto.
Yeah. What is it direct, is it?
Direct, yeah. Lucky
Okay.
enough we get it direct.
Okay. I used to live in... By the way, Dubai is the world's airport.
This is what I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's your first time.
First time. First time for everything.
Did you like it?
I wasn't sure what to expect. And I was telling, my bud Garrett, it's like I've never been more productive on a business trip than I have in Dubai. So it's a great city. It's interesting. I mean, it's like any other big city. It's concrete and glass and steel, but it's clean. There's no graffiti. There's no beggars. There's no bums. There's no rainbows on the street.
Uh-huh.
It's very efficient. I mean, but it's a big city.
Did you, when you said you were really productive?
Yeah.
Did you, in what way? Like, was there people that you had, because obviously you've got this academy and everything, right?
Yeah.
Did you meet any of the guys that you've trained?
I met a lot of guys that have benefited from my work, but not a part of my community.
Got it.
I mean, I had a great guy that brought me here, Jules. So shout out to him, Sartorial Shooter.
Did Drew brought you here?
He's been telling me for years, come out, you got to check it out, mate. This and that, cars, supercars, yachting, everything. So, I found my way out here, and he underpromised and over-delivered, made some great introductions, met some great people, got some interesting podcast conversations out there. Ran into Andrew Tate the last minute before we left, so that was nice.
He just landed, didn't he?
I think so, yeah.
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 It was cold in Europe right now. You don't want to be there.
Well, it's the same in Canada, man. I've got a foot of snow in my front yard, so I can't wait to deal with that when I get home and try to trudge through that when I go out my driveway with my suitcase.
That's, and do you live alone?
Yeah, I mean, I've got my daughter part of the time, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I used to live in Toronto, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah,
Where?
Maple Leaf Square.
Oh, okay. Right downtown.
In front of Air Canada Centre. Now it's called Scotiabank Arena.
Scotiabank Arena, yeah.
Yeah. I remember back then.
Yeah.
It's worse compared to when it was then.
I mean, Canada had an identity when I was a young man, right? It's just gone downhill. There's no longer a Canadian identity. It just doesn't exist anymore. It's been washed away with all the nonsense they've been doing with the wokeness. That's just where we've gotten to.
Canada used to be the hot thing back in the day. Like, everybody wanted to move there, and it just went to shit. Vancouver, Hastings Street.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been there?
I believe so, yeah.
Terrible. 13 kilometers of zombies.
I mean, last time I was there was a long time ago, and I didn't really have a lot of desire to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, who did this to Canada? Justin?
The liberals, liberalism, liberal ideology, progressiveness, feminism. All the isms are never a good thing for humanity and countries and relationships and men and women in general. But they want you to believe that they're good for you.
Got it. And who's who is the Liberals still in charge?
Unfortunately, I mean, Justin Trudeau had a run for 10 years, a decade roughly. And then he became very unpopular.
Yeah.
And the Conservative Party, was in a strong lead. They managed to screw that up, and they replaced Trudeau with another, globalist, Mark Carney, who was responsible for Brexit and some of the financial issues in the UK. And then he became the leader of the Liberal Party, and now we're still under a liberal regime, socialist regime.
So the same guy.
Yeah.
His opposition.
Same party, different guy.
Same party, different guy, but I like his opposition a lot more.
Yeah. Pierre Poilievre
That's-
has some interesting takes. He's not very popular though. He wasn't popular enough to win the election.
I don't know why.
Well, I think because he flip-flops. He doesn't take a strong stand, and I believe it's because his party doesn't think that you can take a strong stand. And he's a little washy, like wishy-washy on subjects that you'd think a conservative would have a backbone on. So I think you have to be very clear and identify us versus them, and invite people to join us on that mission, on that purpose, and go and change things. But unfortunately, that's not what Canada's about. I think people have voted. I think they've indicated that they're not interested in that. And this is where we are. It's on the decline. It's a failing society.
So the issue is Canadians.
The issue is Canadians. The issue is the people that vote for the policies that the politicians pass through.
When I was in Canada, I remember when I was watching TV and there was like an ad. Every third ad was like, are you dealing with mental health issues?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I've never seen that in Australia.
Yeah, mental health issues. It's just wild the way that things have just become soft and so woke and inclusive. It doesn't do any service. People need to take accountability for their lives. And men are told essentially not to be accountable anymore, not to be men, become less so others can become more. And that creates a vacuum, which forces women to not lean on men, to not say, I want a good, strong man. Instead, now they say, I don't need a man and I can go chase a career and I should go climb the corporate ladder. And then when they do, they find it nearly impossible to find a guy because now they're successful women. They basically turn themselves into what they wanted. And then they learn the hard way that what they've become is not what men want. Mm-hmm. Top shelf successful men don't want to come home to an argument. They don't want to come home to a boss girl. Mm-hmm. Right?
There's a lot of, by the way, this whole movement of men, alpha, Andrew Tates, the fresh and fits and stuff like that, right? People see them, right? But even though I'm sure Andrew Tate was his person before he met you, but I feel like you were almost the person that created all these people that we see. So we see these people on social media, right? But really behind closed doors, it was you that trained them.
Well, it's funny you say that. I mean, Myron Gaines was a mentee in my program years ago before he started up the Fresh and Fit podcast. But Myron's a good guy. He did everything on his own, right? I mean, I had a platform where I was doing podcasting years ago. I think around 2017, 2018. Andrew Tate wasn't as popular, but we did some podcasting, and then he had a clipping army that really amplified all of that. Now he's blown up, obviously. So, I mean, I'm just glad that the message is getting out, that it's being heard. It doesn't really matter to me who speaks the message. What matters to me is that guys adopt it and they do something with it. They actually take action.
But I think you were the root.
I mean, thank you. Cheers.
Do you think about that? Do you think about that?
I mean, I don't want to put a feather in my cap and own the whole thing, but sure, sure. Okay.
Like these guys are kind of like soldiers that went out, but you were the spark.
Maybe. Yeah. I think it's better if they admit that than I admit that.
Yeah, but there's some truth to it. Yeah. And nobody has ever said that to you on a podcast, have they?
No, I think when I was on Fresh and Fit with Myron, I think he acknowledged the early start. I think there's been a few others. It doesn't happen that often. I mean, people, I find there's not a lot of good men that are good at being men. I think one of the things that good men do is they'll acknowledge mentors and credit them. But in today's world, it's like one of those things, like, I just get to the point, like, who cares? Like, as long as everybody's doing well and society benefits from the message, it doesn't matter if they heard it from me or they want to credit me, whatever.
Yeah. That's the alpha way, not to take credit.
The alpha way is not to declare yourself an alpha. The alpha way is to let others point to you and say, that's the man.
True. And I think it's so not alpha to take credit.
Yeah.
Do you think it's alpha to call yourself an alpha?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think that society and women get to decide who's on the top shelf.
Sorry.
Right. True. I think that, society and women will ultimately state, well, that's a man, like women will say that's the man that I want to be with, and men will say that's the man that I want to become.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good indication that you're doing the right things and you have people's attention.
Yeah. I mean, you've been doing podcasting for a long time.
Yeah.
A long, long time.
Yeah.
How many years has it been now?
So 2017 is when I started in 2017 when I was at an event. I was sitting there having breakfast with a clinical psychologist, and we were talking about wanting to get to guys sooner. So we cooked up this idea of doing a podcast called Before the Train Wreck.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we did about 100 episodes before we sort of parted ways and sort of went on our own things. But that was the start of podcasting early on for me. We take call-ins. We talk to a lot of guys, try to help them along the way. The problem with most men, though, is that they're not really ready to listen to messaging or new ideas or opportunities to improve themselves, usually until chaos hits them. And it's when that chaotic moment forces them to lean into some difficulties, when that chaos forces them to take a good look at themselves, that's when they're ready to hear the message. That's when they're ready for the teacher to speak.
Sure. So you're saying your message was given from a long time ago, but people just started to being ready to listen to it.
Yeah. Like it's a transient thing. You know, people come to me and they go, and sometimes they come back.
Got it.
They usually take what they want and then they go ahead and then actually, believe it or not, most of them go back to where they started.
Yeah.
They'll just revert back to their old beta ways sort of thing. And they'll make the same mistakes. So I think it's good to really, for guys that contemplate my kind of messaging, to get involved in a community and spend time with these men and do events with these guys and test yourself and do more than just chase women. Cause I think that's what a lot of men get distracted by is women. It's always women, women, women. Pickup artists. I opened up a 3 set with a 2 set and an egg and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, women are important, but what about like your network of men that you're around? What are you doing to put a dent in the universe? What are you doing to create wealth for yourself? What do you do to create renown for yourself? Are you socially influential? What are you doing beyond just chasing tail? Because getting women is not that hard, right?
When you zoom out on everything that you teach, what is the end goal for a man?
The end goal for a man would be to become the absolute best version of themselves, to ascend to a top shelf or something closely approximating the top shelf, which is, the title of this book over here between us. Once you get to that place, you become one of the top 5% of men. You're spoiled for choice. You get to make more decisions. You get to exercise more optionality. You get to say no to people. It's just a far, far better place to be once you've ascended the ranks of life. And the interesting thing is there's a lot of guys here in Dubai that were familiar with my work that I ran into in the last week that were like, 7 years ago, I was getting divorced and, I used to come home from work and watch your content over and over again. Other guys, it was, something else that I helped them with. But like the fact remains, everybody's got work to do. Mm-hmm. What is the work that you need to lean into? What is that darkness that you need to sort out?
Mm-hmm. Should a man stay single over long-term wise? Should a man stay single, or do you think a man's goal is to find a woman?
I think most men's goal is to find a woman at the end of the day, even if I were to tell them to stay single. I don't think most men are equipped today to deal with most women, especially most Western women. They don't have the know-how. They don't understand what women respond positively to. Quite often, they'll just do what they've been told to do or what they hear women ask them to do. Buy me chocolates, write me poems, take me nice places, buy me flowers. And men that do all of these things that women ask often get punished for doing the very things that women ask them to do. So you have to pay attention with women to what they actually respond positively to, not what they're telling us to do. For guys, you get involved with a woman, you fall in love with her, you like her, you obviously want to do things to please her. And why wouldn't you? I mean, you're in love with the gal. So that's what we as men do. I think we're more romantic than women from that sense. It's been said that women are in business, men are in love. But women will ask us to do things or to stop doing things, right? And quite often, the things that they either want us to do or to stop doing, most men don't understand that doing what they were already doing is probably quite good for the relationship, and they should continue doing what they were going to do anyway, even if she doesn't like it.
I mean, it's so true because name me a woman activist who is actively protesting against the decline in testosterone in men. None.
But they will complain endlessly about the lack of marriageable men, the lack of masculine men out there, right? But they'll never say like anything about, we need to improve masculinity. We need to check men's testosterone levels. Why aren't we offering more TRT replacement therapy to men freely? Like women get free tampons. Why aren't men getting TRT? They don't, they don't want that because they think that it's toxic or they think that it might not benefit them. But at the end of the day, they all want the same thing. They want the top shelf, handsome guy that's known for his success, that can make it rain, knows how to make money, develop a renown for himself, has a good network, that's captivating, that's interesting. They all want the same thing. They all want the same guy.
Well, I mean, women are born with their value and men have to build it.
Correct.
So,
women need to preserve their value is the mistake that women make, is that women will go out there and they'll say, well, this is what men are doing. So I should be doing what men are doing because I find that attractive. So if I start doing it, then men will find me attractive. So they'll run around in their 20s and climb the corporate ladder and get degrees and travel Europe and sleep with a bunch of guys and think that none of that matters because men do it, right? But do you know any man in history that's thought to himself, gee, I wish my wife had slept with 42 more guys before I had married her. I wish my wife had shared her body with 42 more men before she had committed to me and we had a family. Not a single man. But that doesn't matter to women. Women don't really care if you or I have been with a bunch of women. In fact, I would argue it's probably more desirable for women to look at a guy because women vet men based on the proximity of beautiful women around men. If we have beautiful women around us, we become more attractive to other women, right?
Yeah, I had a situation recently where I nearly got into a relationship with a girl and we kind of went on a break. Nothing really happened. And then she dated a guy and she came back. I said, it's done. And she said, yeah, but when we were together, you were with other girls. And I said, it's different. Yeah. It's like the lock theory. I'm not sure Andrew Tate said or who said it, but a lock that, doesn't work is a faulty lock, but a key that opens up different locks.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that because I think a real test of womanliness. So let's say you break up. A horrible woman that really doesn't love this guy will go out there, spend time with her friends, party, sleep with other men to sort of get over it. And then sometimes they'll find out the grass isn't greener and then they'll call you up. How you been? Haven't seen you in a while. Let's get together. Let's get coffee. She's done at that point. A good woman, if you part ways or if you break up, will sit there and cry about it. She'll stay in a room and she'll cry about it. Women, when they cry in front of a man, I think it's to motivate him. You really can't trust a woman's tears if there's other people in the room because it's to motivate them to her benefit. You can only trust a woman's tears if she's crying by herself, right? So if she sat around, if she's thought about it, she hasn't done anything, she hasn't gone out and party, she didn't go travel Europe for a month or something like that. She didn't travel to the Caribbean and get Tyrone to rearrange her guts or anything. You know what I'm saying? She just sat there and cried about the loss of you in her life and then begged you to come back. I think that's a good test of a chick.
Yeah. Are you single?
I have a girl. I don't talk in specific details about my own personal relationships. I never would. I think that one of the mistakes that men make is they'll go and put their gal online. They'll take photographs of her. Here she is. We're doing this. We're doing that. And that's an attack vector. I don't think smart men that are public type of figures, should broadcast to the world what matters to them because women can become problematic for men and they can become attack vectors. I mean, you saw what happened with the Tates. That's how they got them was based on, attack vectors with women. So I think that you should keep that part of your life for the most part private. There's some couples that are like, hey, we're social media influencers and they just do that from the get-go. I don't think you can turn that off, but I think if you're from the get-go starting, you should keep as much about your personal relationship as personal as possible. I don't broadcast photographs of my family, my daughter, anybody that's in my inner circle. When I'm out with my boys, sure, we take some photographs, we do cool things, but I think there's parts of a man's life that need to remain personal to him.
What's the most controversial thought you have?
What's the most controversial thought that I have?
Go to the end. Go to the red zone. The zone that you don't really talk about.
I mean, I don't think that men should commit to sexual exclusivity with women. I don't think it really, women say that they want it. Women say that they want your commitment. I think commitment and sexual exclusivity can be separated. I think you can give a woman 100% of your commitment. You can love her. You can take care of her. You go out for dinner. You pay. Your card works. Everything's good. You show up for family events. You take vacations together. You're there. You're present. But I think giving a woman 100% assurance of sexual exclusivity is damaging to the relationship and to her. Because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, women want a man that other women want. Women want a man that other men want to be. So that just by nature, by default, means that other women are going to be interested in you. Now, whether or not you exercise that optionality, that's up to you. Some guys do, some guys don't. I think what ends up happening for a lot of guys is, you know, you can say to a woman, you have 100% of my commitment. And then you say you get 99% of my sexual exclusivity. Well, what does that mean? And they get upset about it. They'll get over it. Most of them will. And then what usually ends up happening with these guys is, even though they have that loophole open, most of them don't really want to exercise it. It's not like something they want to go and chase, because now it's open. They've actually got it there. And she usually behaves better with him, is more caring, is more thoughtful, prepares nicer meals for him, puts up with more of his shit more often because of that optionality open on his end. So I think that one of the things that guys make a terrible mistake in is they're very, very quick to give up their sexual exclusivity to a woman because she says, what are we? Where's this going? Will you be my boyfriend? I don't want to share you. I'm a one man kind of woman, sort of thing. Right. So you have to have some boundaries. You know, like I said earlier, sometimes the very things that women want men to stop doing or to start doing for them are actually not good for her and the relationship. Women punish guys that give them everything that they want.
Correct.
Routinely. So you have to, it's a difficult balance. And that's one of the purposes of this book, actually, is when I wrote it, I took 5 years to put it together. But when I wrote it, I was thinking more along the lines of, okay, management, long-term relationships, that's what everybody wants. How do you manage that? How do you get the most out of it? How do you make sure that she's as happy as possible along with your priorities and your happiness? So that's really the purpose of the book. Once you get past the how to make money, the AI stuff that I put in there, a lot of the book is how to manage an LTR, like how to make sure that she's got what I talked about in my first book is genuine burning desire over the long haul.
But see, managing a woman is hard, and
yes.
and committing to that for the rest of your life to be able to always set boundaries is difficult.
Yeah.
Right? Because every time you just got to set boundaries. No, put your foot down.
I mean, look, women aren't easy. They're going to be a pain in the ass because they're women. Right.
Yeah.
They're emotional. You have to take that into consideration. You're going to have to do things that are going to upset them sometimes. You're going to have to say no to them.
Yeah.
So they will test you. They will give you a hard time. They will stress you out. But I think at the end of the day, a woman would be smart to find a guy that's on the top shelf, put up with some of his shit, because you're going to have boundaries as a guy at that level, not make his life too difficult. And most importantly, find ways to embed herself into his life, be useful in his life so that she becomes more irreplaceable. And of course, lower strictures that don't matter that much, like i.e. I have to have 100% of his sexual exclusivity all of the time, right? As long as he doesn't embarrass you, as long as he doesn't do things that put your health at risk, as long as some gal doesn't come knocking on your front door and say, hey, surprise, I'm pregnant with Rich's baby, sort of thing. She's not going to like that, right? So, manage this thing properly, right? But don't put the emphasis on women. That's a mistake that most guys make, right? Their vetting process seems to be, well, she responded to my text and she touches my pee-pee, so I'm going to marry her. It's like, really? That's your vetting process? Why not look at red flags? Why not look at green flags? Why not travel with her? Why not see what she's made of when you get sick? Does she look after you? Does she ignore you? Does she laugh at you and mock you, say, oh, you got a man cold, what's wrong with you? Or does she actively look for ways to heal you, sort of thing? Yeah. Right? There's lots of good women out there, but you have to understand their nature. You have to understand who they are. You have to understand what they're going to respond positively to. And you have to understand there's things that you're just going to have to do that are just going to not put a big smile on her face all the time. But long term, they're good for you and her.
I believe that a lot of women can, the reason why there's simps or there's beta males, they don't necessarily, I've seen a lot of my friends go into a relationship being the alpha, but after 3 years, they become the beta. Yeah. Because over time, like erosion, they start chipping away and he just doesn't have the energy to continue putting in boundaries. Yeah. So then he just goes, let's just keep her happy. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's called betatization through 1,000 concessions. So, it starts with, hey, don't brush your teeth over there. You're going to get some toothpaste on the carpet. Pick up your white socks and put them in the white hamper. Put the dark socks in the dark hamper. And guys routinely, yes, they'll just stamp everything. Yes, there's a stand-up comic bit on this. Yes, and they stamp everything. Yes, and it's like, before you know it, the guy that she fell in love with, that was difficult, that was more of an alpha, that was disagreeable, that would do what he wanted when he wanted, he's gone. He's this agreeable plugged-in beta male that tried to make her happy because he loved her and he thought he was doing the right thing. But ultimately, at the end of the day, each one of these concessions, each one of these things that beta-tized him made him less attractive to her. I tell the story in my first book. I was at the grocery store mall once, and you'll see this all the time once you look for it, guys. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry to ruin this for you. But I was at the grocery store, and there was a couple. There was a small child in the buggy. There was another one walking around that was under the age of 4. She was pregnant, and this rotund, very unattractive woman was yelling at her husband in a disparaging way, calling him a muppet. Oh, you're an idiot. That's the wrong diapers, the wrong nappies, the wrong wipes, whatever. Just making him look like an absolute fool in public. And contempt is the clock that ticks down to the end of a relationship. If you allow it to get to that point, you're done. And that's dangerous for men. What's the point in having children and a family if she's going to want to untie the knot, steal your wealth from you, alienate you from your own children, and then you're left with not much, seeing your kids every other weekend, while the new guy spends more time with your kids than you get to? What's the point in that?
And when she leaves him one day, he's going to think, what happened? I did everything correct.
Correct.
I did everything she wanted me to do.
Like I said, women will punish men if we give them what they want all of the time, if we listen to them all the time. Men have to learn how to lead and put their foot down and be decisive on how to navigate relationships. And nobody gives men this information. It's only me that's been talking about it, that's been writing the books on it, that provide actionable steps, that provide some prescriptions for guys to follow. The problem is not only do you have to read it, you have to adopt it, accept it, and then implement it. And for some guys, it's too much. It's a bridge too far. You need to find Jesus, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. So, all right, how's that working out?
Give it a couple of years.
Yeah.
Give it a couple of years. If they were to actually listen to your advice, they don't realize how many divorces you would save.
I think that the divorce rate, a simple thing like changing family law is a very clear example. So in the state of Kentucky, they changed family law to make it default 50-50 custody. And within a span of a few years, the divorce rate, because they changed the custody arrangement to default 50-50, dropped something like 20%. So women thought to themselves, well, I can no longer benefit from divorcing and getting custody, because when they get custody, they have control. And when they have control, then they get more money. Right. So if there's no benefit to them untying the knot, they now stay in the marriage. Right. So even a small change like that one single change reduced divorce rates by 20%, which is massive. That's significant. Could you imagine if men led relationships, said no to their wives more, did the things that women find pleasing and more attractive over the long term? You could completely change the dynamics of relationships over the long haul, but people don't want to hear this stuff. They don't want to do the work. It's, like I said, it's dressed in overalls, and it's on the other side of things that you need to do to get the results that you're looking for. People want wipe a cream under your eye, get rid of wrinkles, pop a pill, lose 30 pounds, in 2 weeks. People want easy and fast. They don't want to do the difficult things, which is unfortunate, but that's how life is.
What's your belief on love? Does love exist?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been in love. You've been in love. Women have loved men, obviously. Love is a real thing. It's a wonderful thing to experience, obviously, especially when it's mutual, but it's not the end all be all. And I don't think that you should just be like, oh, well, we're in love, so everything will be fine. No, usually that's when things will start to go sideways, right? If you just hope everything will work out. Hope is a terrible plan.
Yeah. There's a quote by somebody, I don't know what it is, but they said a marriage will last if the couple doesn't love each other. Because I think what they're trying to say is once you love somebody, then you start breaking your boundaries and you start making exceptions, and it starts crossing the line.
Yeah, I think that, we talked about this earlier, is that, when a man loves a woman, he'll try to do things to please her. And we think that it's what they want. The unfortunate consequence. I mean, you can write women as many poems as you want. You can send flowers to her work all day long, every week. You can buy her chocolates. You can tell her she looks pretty when she puts on a nice dress over and over again. She's still probably going to cheat on that guy. Yeah. And probably with a guy that just got out of jail without a penny to his name and a tattoo on his face and rides a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Me and Satoru Shuda have this argument all the time. Well, not argument, this debate all the time, where he said to me that the love doesn't exist. It's just it's just a Disney fairy tale thing that they've created. Real love is blood. Your mother and a son and a father. Real love is blood. The rest is familiarity. I was used to her smell, used to her jokes, used to her behavior.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, familiarity is, it's interesting because men, I think, fall for women. I think men are more romantic than women. I think that men fall more for like the notion of the soulmate, the soulmate myth, if you will. Women are more adaptive. We see this in the war brides phenomenon because, throughout history, if a conquering tribe went and, assumed a new village, they would kill off the men of fighting age, the ones that wouldn't, um, join their ranks or go into slavery. That was it. They were done. So that forced women to adapt. I think throughout history, women have been very good at adapting to difficult type of situations. And what they do is they adapt to the next guy. So women are much quicker to move from one man to the next man. Men, on the other hand, I don't think we've adapted to the condition of change when you've committed and you have a pair bond form. It's why you see guys pine for women that they lost months or even years later, whereas women have moved on to the next guy sometimes within weeks or a month, sometimes within the same day.
Well, I think, isn't it because women start grieving the death of a relationship while being in the relationship?
They can do. They're just far more adapted, in my opinion, to moving on as a function of survival, right? Yeah. I mean, like, you have to remember, men are the stronger sex. We have at least 2 to 3 times more upper body strength than women.
Of course.
Right? And if they're not careful about how they navigate life and who they associate with and how they associate with men and, with those of authority or power, they can run into some serious problems, right? So it's just one of those dynamics that exist that the sexes are different. We're always going to be different. That's just how it is. We're not equal. We're equal in, abilities, but they're different. Women do things that are different from men. Like, I don't think women should be in policing. Yeah. I don't think women should be firefighters. I don't think women should be in politics or in judiciary systems, things like that. And in, societies where it's more egalitarian and we sort of resign ourselves to the natural place that we want to be, even places like Sweden and Norway. I was talking about this today. Women will get into nursing and to education, and men will get into things like engineering and building rockets and stuff like that, because that's what's interesting to us. So you can't force certain things on humanity, and it's a disservice to not, I think, honor and uplift what we're good at.
Mm-hmm. I've got a little game. I've got 2 games, actually.
Sure.
All right. I've got 2 games in the middle of the podcast. This is the first game, and I think it's perfect now to start that game because I was going to do it later. You came up with this: pink jobs and blue jobs.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to list out some jobs to you, and you're going to tell me if it's a pink job or a blue job. Has anyone done this for you before?
No, this is the first time, so let's do it.
Good. All right. Human resource manager, HR.
I mean, women are awful at HR. Blue job.
President of the United States.
Blue job.
Commercial airline pilot.
Blue job.
CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Blue job.
Police officer.
Blue job.
Marriage counselor.
I hate to say it, men are better at that too. Blue job.
Chef.
Some of the best chefs in the world are men.
Judge.
Blue job.
Oil worker.
Blue job.
Deep sea welder.
Blue job.
Roofer.
Blue job.
Garbage collector.
Blue job.
Power line technician.
Blue job.
Nurse.
Pink job.
Kindergarten teacher.
Pink job.
Flight attendant.
Pink job.
Executive assistant.
Pink job.
OnlyFans creator.
Oh, shut that whole thing down and bury it 6 feet under. That's a curse on society.
Stay-at-home parent.
Pink job.
Social media manager.
Social media, they can turn off social media. Women don't need social media. They get enough attention. That's all they do is they chase likes and comments and DMs.
Well, I mean, that's their new currency, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's their new currency.
I was at the address Sky Pool here, overlooking the Burj, and the amount of women getting their plugged-in beta male simp boyfriends to take photographs
of them.
and videos of them with wardrobe changes for hours.
Oh wow!
Like, we saw this for hours.
That's a simp for allowing it.
He's promoting his girl so other guys can try to get her from him on social media by actually providing the imagery that she's going to use against him. She'll use it on dating apps. She'll use it in forward-facing social media, and guys will respond to it because it's salacious, it's provocative, it's sexy.
And he's feeding his ego by showcasing his woman, so he feels good about himself that other men want his woman.
Yeah, look, I'm sure maybe there's, examples of some of these guys that might have a private social media or a private Instagram they just use for themselves. Or maybe they're a OnlyFans manager. There's some kind of a pimp and this is their girl and they're trying to build a business. But none of these guys were those guys. You could tell they were all fat, dorky betas.
Oh, I got
right?
it.
And she was like, you got to take a picture and you got to take it from this angle. And she would look at the pictures afterwards and ask him to do it again and show him where to hold the camera sort of thing. He would reluctantly do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you do if your girlfriend told you take a photo of
She wouldn't even ask me.
She wouldn't ask.
No.
She would know.
No. She knows better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think everyone is single now because there's so many options?
I think men. Okay, so let's be clear. I think the men that women want, the top shelf men, the men close to that area, are not very pleased with the optionality that they're presented with, especially in Western culture. I think that women, because they're all chasing the top shelf man, are really struggling to get that guy to commit to him for some reasons. Like one of the most simple ones is, you hear women, well, I broke up with him because he cheated on me. So he's tall, he's handsome, he's muscular, he's good looking, he's successful, drives nice cars, has multiple pieces of real estate. And because he banged one chick while he was on Vegas on that conference, you're going to break up with him? Who are you going to replace him with? Another guy that's going to do the exact same thing, right? Like you would be wise to relax these strong strictures that you have in certain areas. But women are told, well, you can have it all, girl. You can do better. They have a counsel. I tell guys, women make a lot of decisions based on counsel decisions. Their girlfriends, their mom, their sisters, things like that. And I think that women would be wise to develop their own minds and realize that when you find a guy that's on the top shelf and he does well for himself, you're probably going to have to put up with a little bit of shit.
You see that a lot in Dubai. I've got a friend of mine here, very young, 27 years old. He makes a lot of money. I think he's very open about it. He makes like $160,000 a day. He has a trading platform. And he's with a girl and he goes, yeah, she has to do as I say. She has to be okay with me sleeping with another girl. If I'm going to be housing her, providing for her, giving her money for this, and she's doing nothing, she's just coming and bringing me the feminine energy, she has to be okay with me sleeping with other women.
Sure.
And that's fair.
Well, look, she's not going to think it's fair. She's not going to like it. But like I said earlier, sometimes the very things that women don't like are actually good for her in the relationship. So, put up with some of his garbage.
Have you met Sadia Khan?
Thank God, no.
No. Okay.
She's an awful human being.
Yeah. Talk to me about her.
She's a fraud. She's not a psychologist. She's telling, dispensing advice about high value, how to be a high value woman, how to find a high value man. She's a side piece. We've seen all the evidence now and she won't even acknowledge it. Give me a break.
Yeah.
At least take ownership. But, accountability with women, it's difficult sometimes.
Doesn't exist.
No.
Yeah, I think she's gone hiding now just because she doesn't want to face the music.
I'm not surprised.
Fresh and Fit.
Yeah.
Fresh. The other guy, Walter?
Yeah.
I believe his name is?
Walter Weeks, yeah.
Is he alpha or beta?
I like Fresh. I think he's trying to level himself up. He's done beta things like me. We talked about this before when I was on a show. He dated a single mom. I dated a single mom too. It was one of the stupidest things that I've ever done. And, we both acknowledge that we've made some mistakes and we've started from some bad places. But the thing I like about Fresh is he's looking to improve himself. He's willing to take a look in the mirror and say, I screwed up. That's what I did. And I'm trying to fix that. And I think he's a genuinely good guy that's trying to level himself up. It's not my position to call him an alpha or beta.
I say this because he got an OnlyFans girl pregnant.
Well, that's what they said.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the outcome or the story of that was. Was that the China doll girl?
I don't know.
No, I don't know what happened with that. I think there was like her side of the story and then his side of the story and who knows the truth. I don't know.
What if you date a single mom that's financially independent, a career woman, super loaded?
Yeah, that's a good question. Look, I talked about this in my first book, The Unplugged Alpha, because there's an entire chapter that I devoted to the biggest mistake that most make men, which is inviting a single mom into their life. So I thought about it after writing it because I talked about all the downsides. There's really not a lot of upside. And, people have challenged me, in what circumstance might it be wise to invite a single mom into your life? And I thought about it. I thought, okay, well, if she's on the same par, you're a single dad, you're maybe around the same age, your kids are roughly the same age, the same gender, because I don't want to put my daughter in a condition where she's around a boy that's around the same age that's not a blood relative, because that's where you end up with SA issues, right? Like that's where you end up with girls being violated by non-blood relatives in a household. It's a big risk, right? But she's got a daughter, you got a daughter, she's got a son, you got a son, sort of thing. And she stands on her own 2 feet. She doesn't have red flags. She brings green flags to the table that I talk about in my books. She's genuinely useful in your life. She's respectful. Then that might be an ideal situation where you might want to contemplate it, right? But in almost every situation, you're going to have less nonsense to deal with if she doesn't bring children from a prior relationship to the table. It's just a reality of life.
I say this because then that single mom isn't looking for you for financial support.
Yeah.
Let's say she's got a nanny, got a driver, got everything. She's super career woman, loaded. You don't have a child. You're single. Would it still be okay?
No,
still not okay.
No, I don't think it's wise for a guy to get involved with a single mom. But I mean, like the other thing too is that, women want to date and marry up on the socioeconomic scale. So generally, unless you're doing better than her, like even the same as her, the same is not what she prefers. She prefers better. It's not likely that you're going to get somebody on your level. So you're doing something with your life. You've accomplished something. You've become successful. Maybe you have a child in tow from a prior relationship. Maybe you were married, sort of thing. I think a woman would be wise, again, if she would look for ways to be useful in that man's life, form a relationship with that child, be useful to the child's life as well. And if she plays her cards right, maybe she can have some children with them too.
I say this because, I'm 35 years old and a lot of my friends, that's all they're single mom. And I feel like at our age, all the women out there are single moms.
Yeah. I mean, as you get older, it just happens. It's a reality of the world, which is why more men would be smarter to date either younger or at an age where they're finding less and less single moms. I mean, let somebody else deal with it, right? Like there's lots of plugged in beta males out there that would be more than happy to get into a relationship with a pretty gal that's got a kid or two or something like that. And they'll sacrifice their life or maybe their optionality to have children to raise another man's seed, which is cuckoldry. I don't like the idea of it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But lots of men do it. So they'll find somebody. Women always land on their feet. Like you see this with porn stars.
Yeah.
They'll go and do 400 movies and then you see the title. Lana Rhoades wants to eliminate all 400 of her titles because now she's a mom and she's gotten right with God and blah, 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 blah. It's like they always find a guy. It doesn't matter who they are.
So true.
They go and get baptized and, they want Jesus to forgive them for their sins, right?
Yeah.
Just because Jesus forgives these hoes doesn't mean you should.
Jesus was perfect. We're not.
Yeah.
Are you religious?
Not really. I mean, I've thought about this because I've talked to a lot of guys about Islam here. I think if I were to, be very interested in a religion, I think it would probably be Islam, if anything.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it would resonate with you well. I mean, you look at the Western Christianity.
Yeah.
It's like, I grew up in Australia. It wasn't cool to be into religion. It wasn't cool to, whatever, church boy, right? It wasn't cool to believe in God or be Christian. But here, in the schools here, it's not that it's not cool if you're not Muslim. It's not cool if you don't believe in God. I love that.
Yeah.
Because you're God-fearing.
Yeah, I mean, religion is an interesting thing, and I have lots of questions about it. I have more questions about ancient structures nowadays than I do about God. Who the hell built the pyramids? How did they quarry those giant ass stones 500 miles away and move them and then place them 300 feet up in the air?
Yeah.
Perfectly aligned so you can't put a razor blade between the stones.
Yeah.
I got more questions about those ancient things than about religion.
And that was 3,000 years ago. And right now, just yesterday, there's mud huts in Africa.
Right, yeah.
Okay, there's a line in Drake's song, and he said, from the same city that you're from, Toronto, he said, keeping all my connections strictly physical, everyone that's married is miserable. That is not a lifestyle that I can give into. Is that correct?
I don't know too many happy married people. You know, they actually studied this. I covered it in my first book. Aaron and Acevedo were the researchers on the topic, and the average time frame was 8.5 years. Take a guess how many couples are still in love after 8.5 years?
10%.
Less than 12.5. Take a guess how many are in a state of bliss, which is like, I think what most people expect when they get married.
Like the honeymoon phase.
Like obsession for one another after 8.5 years.
It has to be less than 10%.
Less than 3%. That's 3%. So it's a horrible way for men and women to live. It clearly doesn't work. And then, the divorce rate's 50%, right? So half the people get divorced, and then the other half of the people stay together. And of the people that stay together, how many of them are staying together because they're too broke, fat, ugly to leave, or cowards, or, whatever it happens to be. So they stay in an unhappy, cohabitating type of relationship, maybe because they don't want to lose their stuff, maybe because the kids need to grow up. Who knows what the reason is, but, I think that, disconnected from women entirely isn't natural. I think that we're better together than we are apart. I think that it's good that we spend time together. I think that women can complement a man's life, and I think men can add value to a woman's life. But there has to be some management of all of that. And, one of the things that, creates a lot of problems for that, in this book over here, there's a chapter that I call the 3 iddies, and the iddies are proximity, familiarity, and exclusivity. And the more of those 3 iddies I've learned, putting that book together and talking to people and researching it and all of the coaching consults that I've had over the years, the more of those things you give to women, which they generally ask for. I want to be around with you. Wouldn't it be a cool idea if we lived together? We wouldn't have to travel so much anymore. We'd be beside each other all the time, every night, babe. We wake up beside each other. I don't have to pack my bags and bring it over to your house and blah, blah, blah. And, we as guys, because we want to please women we love, and we say, okay, right? But, the more familiar you are with the person, the closer you are in proximity to them, and their habits, and you have assurance of sexual exclusivity with them, the less you like the person. So why would you want to ruin something that could actually work better by managing the 3 iddies properly?
Divorce seems like it's going to be inevitable. Even that 50%, I feel like that's our parents' generation. Our generation still hasn't come through yet. Our generation with the social media and the TikToks and the Bumbles and the Tinder where you can swipe and get another. My parents met because they were neighbors. They were sending letters to each other. I feel like our generation, the next generation, divorce is going to be inevitable. It's going to be 90-something%.
I mean, it doesn't seem to be getting any better. And then there's also the, statistic where people are not forming relationships as much as we used to. We're staying single more. Women are telling each other, you need a man like a fish needs a bicycle. They have their own jobs. They have their careers. They have their fluffy white dogs. There's 17 throw pillows on the bed that they're very proud of. They have their degrees on the wall framed in mahogany with little letters after their name, talking about how important they are. They're accomplishing things, and they're behaving more like men. And men, by the same token, are not that interested in the boss girl avatar. They don't want to invite Becky into their world. It's going to create chaos and be demanding and, be a challenge for them, sort of thing. So there's fewer and fewer committed relationships happening over the long term. Women have a long list of demands that they want from men. Men have a much shorter list, obviously, but we have a list. And I think that on both sides, we want the other person to be more than what they're capable of, right? One of the things that I hear guys talk about a lot is they want a woman that's their lover, that's their girlfriend, that's their mom, that's their wife, and also their best friend. And I think you're asking a lot of a woman to do all of those things. I think that men should really focus on friendships in the regard of male friendships and do things with their boys and, spend time doing things of similar interest. Because at the end of the day, men and women don't really have that much in the way of similar interests. I came to Dubai and I wanted to rip dune buggies, like across the desert and fly off and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And women just aren't interested in that stuff. If you bring a woman to like a place like Dubai, she wants to go shopping. She wants to hold hands and walk down the boardwalk and look at the beach and stuff like that.
Yeah, for Instagram.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she wants to capture it and document it for stuff like that. So I think, there's a place and time for things like this. And I think that if you realize that, men can't do everything that women want and women can't do everything that men want, then you kind of set your expectations a little bit better.
You have a daughter.
Yeah.
What if she was with a guy, successful, tall, everything she's looking for, all that? But hey, he says, listen, darling, I'm a hunk. I'm a 10 and, I should not be sexually exclusive to you and I should be open to being with many other women. Is there an urge in you to beat the fuck out of him?
No. Because it's a reality of life. I mean, men are going to do what they're going to do. Women are going to do what they're going to do.
What would you tell her? Would you tell her it's okay? Look,
if he's good to her, if he takes care of her, if he provides for the family, there is a family, or it's heading in that direction. I mean, as long as, again, he's not embarrassing her, he's not putting her health at risk, it's not nefarious. Like, people are going to do what they're going to do anyway.
Yep.
And the question that I would ask, well, what's your plan? Like, who are you going to replace him with? Another guy that's going to do the exact same thing that probably doesn't love you? I mean, if all those things are in place, I think that, it's one of those difficult conversations that you need to have with your daughter. Like, this is just how men are. They're wired that way, sweetheart. I know that you don't like it. I know that it might hurt, but that's just how things are. I mean, what's your option? You want to find a dork that works 9 to 5 at Walmart and greets you at the door? He'll be loyal as fuck.
True. But she says, Dad, that's what I want. But then she's going to, not respect him, want to break up with him, and go through that vicious cycle like everyone else does.
Yeah. I mean, you can have some conversation with your kids, and I think that there's a way and a time and a place to have those talks. But, this is just a reality of the world that we live in. And unfortunately, you can have everything you want. You just don't get it all in one person. And, like, what do women want? They want a handsome guy that's rich and loyal. That's basically the main things they want. Handsome, rich, and loyal. Pick two, right? If he's loyal, then you can have loyal and handsome.
Yeah.
But you can't have loyal, handsome, and rich.
Yeah.
If he's rich and handsome, he may not be loyal. So you get rich and handsome, but not loyal.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Sure.
You have to make some concessions here in life.
But there would be a certain level of discomfort for you. It's your daughter, and she's not happy.
It's difficult to have that conversation because I don't really know, but I think that I would be able to handle that conversation. Okay. And I would talk to him and I would talk to her about it, maybe separately.
Yeah.
And, the conversation with him would be like, look, motherfucker, what are you doing? Right? Like, let's not embarrass her, right? Like, let's not upset her too much here.
Yeah.
I get that you are who you are, sort of thing, right? Yeah. But smarten up,
Got it. How old is she?
She's a teenager. So there's a few more years down the road for her.
Oh, there's many years there. Many years. Yeah. Got it. I would hate to be dating a girl that her dad is you.
There's only one unplugged alpha.
There's a lot of guys here that have an obedient wife. I want an obedient wife. They come there and they don't talk and they sit there and they're quiet and they don't say words. That's not attractive to me. I need a woman that has character, right?
You want a challenge?
No, it's not a challenge. Has a character. Like I can send her off in a room and like if I go on somewhere, if I'm having meetings or whatever, I know she can hold her own. Because I go to these events and these girls just literally don't talk and they hang off the arm and they just don't talk. And I'm like, that's a trophy. You're just braiding something.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about. I saw that. I've seen that before where a woman will just like latch her meat hooks into him and it's like she's on him all the time.
Yeah.
In social events.
Yeah. And he's trained her like that.
I personally don't like that much stickiness.
Yeah.
But I know there's some guys out there that like that. They like girls with mommy issues or daddy issues, and they like girls that sort of latch onto them. And I'm not really sure what that's about.
Yeah.
I don't really like that, but I do want her to respect my boundaries, to listen to what I say, not challenge me on things that I've made a decision on, so to speak. Find ways to be useful and, create some value in the relationship or around or develop relationships for me. Maybe it's with my family, maybe it's at an event we're going to and she finds a way to, do something constructive or useful for that sort of thing. But like the wallflower, I get what you're saying. Like you don't want a woman to be like a very, demure, quiet, sort of like yes, master sort of thing. There's probably guys that like that. But you have to figure out what your style is. You have to figure out,
so
what you're willing to tolerate.
It's not beta not to want that.
It's up to you. I mean, you should run the kind of relationship that you want and not apologize for the way that you run it. If that's your thing, you like a very quiet, demure, agreeable all the time, but maybe she's an idiot. I mean, maybe that's a consequence of having an absolute beautiful, arm candy on you. Maybe she's just a moron. I don't know.
Yeah, but looks fade.
They do.
Right. Looks fade. They don't mean anything. But I actually judge the man for that because I think you are so insecure that you need to walk around here with a beautiful girl on your arm that can't say a word because you want to constantly feel like you're the king.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, you decide what kind of relationship works for you and how you want to run it. But as long as it's on your terms and she's agreeable to it and she adds value to you, have fun.
Got it. So, yeah. So don't look at the internet and see what other people do and think that's the only way it works for you. If you don't that,
I think there's too many guys out there that'll like go and see, like a big shot or somebody that's very braggadocious say something like, I'm going to be like that guy too.
Yeah.
And they try to run it's like, you have to have done something with your life if you think you're going to, put your foot down in that way.
Yeah.
Or be that harsh about it sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I guarantee like a lot of these guys that are the tough guys on camera, a lot of them could be wrapped around her little finger in real life to some degree. Yeah. So, there's forward facing and then there's reality.
Yeah.
What are they like, when the cameras are off?
That what I guess this would happen a lot to Andrew Tate because people take his words literally.
Yeah.
And Marcel, he's a friend of his, and he was just telling me a story about they went out and everyone was there to see Andrew Tate, and they said sparkling or still when they came to the table. Marcel said still. I want still water. He doesn't drink sparkling, and he could hear like a thing in the room. Everyone goes. Because Andrew Tate was like, if your friends don't drink sparkling water, you can't trust them. Blah, blah, blah. So they took it literally, and he went and told Andrew, and Andrew said, "Marcel, drink whatever the fuck water you want, bro. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
All right, game 2. Yeah. By the way, that's your water. Yeah. Game 2. Alpha or beta? I'm gonna throw some names to you. Okay. All right, you're gonna tell me if they're alpha or they're beta. Okay. All right.
All right. We'll see.
Prince Harry.
Prince Harry, beta.
Will Smith.
Beta.
Justin Trudeau.
Beta.
Drake.
I don't know enough about Drake. I don't follow his music, to be honest with you, so I couldn't say.
Nothing. You don't follow anything.
Don't know.
You're in the same city.
So?
Doesn't mean anything.
No.
Emmanuel Macron.
Oh, beta. He married an old bag.
He got slapped as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he got slapped by her too. Yeah. Beta!
By the way, she's suing someone. Oh, Candace Owens.
Candace Owens, yeah. Well, I mean, Candace seems to think that she has a penis. I mean, who knows? Who cares? I don't know why she's obsessed with that.
Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, yeah, Mark Zuckerberg.
I would say beta a while ago, but seeing him, compete in combat sports and his change in demeanor with politics and like the presidency, I'd shift him in the other direction no more.
No, he's moving.
Yeah.
All right, good on him.
He's getting a promotion.
Yeah. Michael Jackson.
I mean, alpha as fuck when it came to like music and like moves on like, but beta, like you sounded like a woman.
Yeah. I did a podcast with his security guard for 12 years, and he said, I've never met anyone so alpha than him.
Really?
He goes, that whole thing is a show.
Okay.
It's all, he goes, I've never seen anyone fuck more women than he did. So, of course, it's Michael Jackson. If Michael Jackson can't fuck all the women in the world, there's no hope for anyone else.
Yeah, wow.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
I don't like his stances on some things. I think he's a little soft and weird, but he's also alpha. Like, there's a video clip there of him with Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez.
Another one.
And she's admiring him.
Yeah.
And he's moving his hand like this, and he's alpha as fuck in that move, in that sort of situation. I don't know him personally, but I would say alpha.
Jeff Bezos?
Beta! He married a single mom?
Jordan Peterson.
Beta.
I agree. Andrew Tate.
Alpha.
Donald Trump.
Alpha.
Elon Musk.
Alpha.
Kanye West.
He's weird, man. I don't know where I'd put him. Alpha. Yeah, because he doesn't give a fuck. He does whatever he wants.
Putin.
Alpha as fuck.
The Rock.
Beta.
Johnny Depp.
The way he handled that trial, from what I saw, I would say alpha.
Yeah, I was alpha as fuck.
Yeah.
Bill Gates.
Beta.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
I mean, she's disgusting. Let's just put her in the disgusting category.
I'd say she's more alpha than Will Smith.
Yeah, probably she's got a bigger dick than him, I'm sure.
Richard Cooper.
I mean, we covered that early on.
The unhinged alpha. Yeah. Have you ever read the book The Way of a Superior Man?
A long time ago, I had it recommended to me, and it was a big disappointment. I'll tell you why. Going through that, I was expecting some useful, actionable advice, and everybody says that it's in there somehow. Maybe I need to go through it again. but I didn't really see it. It seemed like it had a little too much woo-woo sort of magical, mystical stuff. So I wasn't a huge fan when I went through it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to know that personally because I read the book recently. Is casual sex dangerous?
For women, yes. For men, not so much.
Not so much for men.
No. We can bang 100 women and fall in love with a woman and commit to her and provide for her and all that sort of stuff. And it's usually not an issue. But for women, they lose a part of their soul with every man that they share her body with.
You don't think men lose a part of their soul when they...
Not to the same degree. It does affect men, but not even close to the same degree.
Got it.
Right.
But if you do enough, it would.
You know, there's some guys out there that are like braggadocious. You see them in the pickup artist community. Oh, I've slept with 2,167 women, whatever. You know?
You're a psychopath.
I mean, you're a loser. It's like, you know, like, do you count how many dumps you take? How many times you blow your nose? Like, what else do you count? Right? It's like, I don't understand that concept.
Yeah, true. So true. If you're counting, it means you haven't done much.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the issue here? Like, why are you counting something like that?
Yeah.
You know?
Sure. I've got a lot of friends, and also from my personal experience, you go out and you sleep with a lot of women, and you don't really commit, and then it kind of haunts you because over time, girls start telling you things like, "I had to get therapy because of you," and stuff like that, and then you kind of find yourself in the dumpster. You kind of find yourself that I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have treated her right, and then you've got that in a tsunami. You got 100, you got many, and then you think. Yeah, and you just, I've had friends that have gone from doing 2 a day, 3 a day, whatever it is, going crazy to not doing anything for 1 year because of the hurt and the pain that they've caused in the last 2 years.
Well, I think you can spend time with a woman and be intimate with her without hurting her, right? Don't lie to her. Oh yeah, we're going to get married. Oh yeah, I'm going to commit to you, right? I mean, look.
So I had this. I called one and I felt really bad and I apologized. Beta move, right? Yeah. I said, listen, I'm sorry. I know you have to get therapy, whatever. And she said, don't apologize to me. It's fine. You were clear with me from day one who you were. I tried to change you.
Right. Nothing wrong with that. You're upfront. You're forward with her. I'm not looking for a commitment. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not going to marry you. I'm not the marrying type.
Yeah, but it still feels bad to hurt someone.
Of course it feels bad to hurt someone. You don't want to hurt people. It's not a nice thing to do. But I think at the same time, men are going to do what they're going to do and women are going to do what, like there's two people in the equation, right? Like, do women have agency or not? Are they able to make these decisions to get involved with a guy or to sleep with him or to do whatever, she's going to do? Which is it? Are they adults or are they children? Right?
Sure. Well, I mean, some women are children. What do you think about women that got daddy issues? Stay away?
For long-term relationships, yes. Some guys love chasing women with daddy issues, though. They're great in bed.
Got it. Not all.
Yeah. I wouldn't advise marrying a woman with daddy issues. She's going to make your life difficult.
There's a theory where they say it's better to be with a woman that's got daddy issues and has an absent father because then you become the only man in her life. While if you go with a woman that has a father, then you're going to have to deal with, my dad said this. My dad said you shouldn't have done this. My dad said you should have bought this for me. My dad said you should have done that.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Every woman has a father. It's just, does she have a relationship with him? And then it's okay. Does she have a relationship? Is it a good one or a bad one? So you can have a woman that has a bad relationship with her father. You can have a woman that has no relationship with the father because he wasn't around, or maybe mom pushed him out of the house. Still daddy issues. It's just good relationship with father that you seek. So you want to seek a green flag and just say, okay, well, that's a red flag. Now, it may not be a colossal red flag. Maybe she's dealt with that. Maybe she's one of the small percentage of women that goes to therapy and actually improves her life and does something with it and takes accountability. Maybe. But generally speaking, I don't think that inviting a woman into your life that has daddy issues for a long-term basis or to become the mother of your kids is a wise idea for me.
A woman getting therapy is okay?
A lot of women like to do therapy and to have talk therapy. Very few women benefit from it or improve their lives.
Sure.
They just sit there and complain to the therapist for $300 an hour and they don't actually change any behavior.
Sometimes they need a friend to talk to.
Sometimes.
That's what they're basically paying for. There was a study that they did with people that were affected directly by 9/11. Have you heard about this one?
No.
Whether you saw it, whether you had a friend that died, whether you had a relative that died or whatever, or you worked in the building, the people that 20 years on, the people that seek counseling still had the trauma active and alive, while people that didn't seek counseling had done better in recovering and healing, because the brain is so good at wiping memory and just forgetting about it, while talking about it keeps things alive.
Yeah, I mean, time does heal all wounds eventually, does it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So therapy, if they've got daddy issues, whatever, they got raped or whatever, or sexual abuse, whatever, talking about it, I feel like it's worse. It's a great red flag.
Yeah, again, I've seen women go and like do therapy for something that they're trying to resolve, and they never actually resolve it.
Correct.
Like, what did you do during that time you spent all that money and time sitting in front of a therapist and you've not resolved anything? What's the bloody point? Like, like do something with it, improve.
So my question is, a woman getting therapy, is that a green flag or a red flag? I think it's red.
If she's doing something positive with it, if there's a net positive outcome from it, sure. But in my experience, most women that talk about therapy or like the idea of therapy, you will often hear women on social media say, well, I'm only going to date a guy if he's been in therapy.
Got it.
Not a good look.
With the increase in divorce, how difficult women have become now to put boundaries on and I don't want to say control, but really control themselves from themselves, right? Should a man stay single, or should he actively look for a woman to settle down with?
I mean, it depends what your objective is. If you want children, you're going to need a woman in your life. I don't like the idea of the surrogate or the hired womb, or maybe let's get a nanny to raise the kids. I think that children need a man and a woman. They need both the masculine and the feminine. If that's not an objective for you, there's lots of men out there that have found a niche, for themselves, just dating women and rotating through them, as it's convenient. When she says, hey, we've been dating for a while and I'd like to bring you over to little Nick's birthday party. He's my niece or sorry, my nephew. The guy just says, yeah, it's not me. Like, I'm not into that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then she gets upset and wants to walk away, and then they just sort of let them go and they move on to the next gal. I've seen lots of guys do that. And actually for the North American dating market, it's probably not the worst model, because you never expose yourself to risk. You don't invite chaos into your life. You're never really attached to anything. Mm-hmm. It's one way to do it.
Now, if somebody does want to find a wife, what nationalities or countries would you suggest?
Oh, I'd find them young, as pure as possible, from a traditionally conservative country, not from a large city. Those would be the main things to look for. You want to avoid the red flags, obviously, that I talk about in my books, and look for the green flags.
A virgin?
Ideally. I mean, statistically speaking, with the Heritage and the Teachman study, when they overlay it, the more men a woman shares her body with, the higher probability of her divorcing you, or being unhappy in the relationship, or have had abortions, or have had an STD, or have had drama, or, trauma, so to speak, that is unresolved, right? So, I mean, yeah, there is some data that clearly reflects that a woman that is pure is a better choice for that. But good luck finding that today. It's very difficult.
Sure. Very difficult. I think guys don't find you until they get hurt by a woman.
Usually, yeah.
Usually, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody's watching this and they're watching you and they found you through having their heart broken and a woman's left them, what advice do you have for them when they're going through a breakup? What's the quickest bounce back?
Quickest bounce back from a breakup.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me.
I mean, I've been through a breakup. I was with her for 9 years. I was engaged, right? So I've been through it. Horrible thing. I see why men kill themselves, by the way.
Yeah.
Over it. What advice do you have for somebody going through that?
Breakups are always going to be tougher for guys, I think. I think it's just like lean into the pain, deal with it, write a letter to her or something like that. Don't send it to her, but write a bullshit letter like, you did this and I can't believe you did that. You're such a blah, 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 and then burn it. You never send it to her, sort of thing. Just get it out of your system, Seven. Do what you got to do. Get into combat sports, start hitting a heavy bag, do something, right? Because the worst thing you can do is just sit there and mull over it and cry like a little baby. So process it and move on. It's going to take, for some guys, it could take a few weeks or a few months. For some guys, it might take longer. I remember talking to a guy once and was telling me, you're with her for 2 years. It's going to take you another 2 years to forget about her. And I think there's some truth to that probably. Again, time heals all wounds.
Me personally, I had to grow to a point where I didn't fit with her anymore.
Yeah. I mean, if you take some ownership and, women don't leave good men, right? Like women don't leave or abandon top shelf men. They will do whatever they can to keep him around. So I would look at it like, okay, well, what was missing? Was I fat? Was I broke? Was I incompetent? Did I say yes to too much stuff? Like, what did I do wrong? And then try to remedy that and just come out of it as a better version of yourself.
Do you feel like when you're with someone so long, you become this shape that fits with this person? She likes it when I do this, and I like it when she does this. And
of course,
right? And then you're with the next girl, and let's say you guys break up, and now you've been this shape for 5 years, 6 years, and then you go with the next girl that you don't fit with her, you don't fit with her, you don't fit with her. Then you go into a real dark place where you have to recut yourself and rebuild yourself.
Yeah.
To then go into the market and find someone else.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to reinvent yourself. I think that if you're struggling with one-itis, excuse me, I'm a little bit sick.
Sorry.
If you're dealing with like one-itis where you have unhealthy attachment to one woman, you thought she was your soulmate, you don't know if you can replace her. You had a certain way of doing things. You slept a certain way. You held each other a certain way. You had sex a certain way that was just like, off the chart or whatever. I think that if you sit there and you just focus on that one thing and you don't think you're going to get it, or you try to get that exact same thing with another gal, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. There's lots of beautiful women out in the world. There's lots of women out there that would love you more and take better care of you than the one that just left you. Right. Go out there and enjoy life and figure out what you're missing that, I had to leave this guy because, there's take some ownership for yourself. Be a man.
Do people notice you without the glasses on?
Yeah.
They still notice you without the glasses?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not wearing them because I'm going to get some eye surgery, so I don't have to wear them again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think if you walk past me, I wouldn't notice you, but if you had the glasses on, I'd notice you.
Yeah.
Has that happened?
I mean, I got to have a disguise at some point, I think, maybe try to look a little bit different, wear a hat or some kind of glasses, but yeah.
You get stopped in Toronto?
I do, yeah.
I can imagine. Do you think it's a good idea for a man who's got a woman, right? He's got a wife. He should track her menstrual cycle on his phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the Flow app.
Yeah. So there's lots of good apps for stuff like that, by the way.
Yeah.
So here's a reason why you want to track her menstrual cycle. I mean, one, if you're trying to get pregnant, or two, if you want to have sex and don't want to have a pregnancy. The Oura Ring pairs with an app called Natural Cycles, and it's just as effective as using birth control or condoms or whatever. So that's one way to sort of manage birth control. You get green days and red days. So that's one good reason.
So Oura.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing too is that if she's the kind of gal that likes to go out, or she likes to every once in a while have a girl's night out, this is when women cheat on men. When they're ovulating and when they go out for girls' nights and when, they're going to places that, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. There's an excuse for it. Right. So, if she's getting all dressed up, big hoop earrings, exposing a lot of skin, bright red lipstick. And by the way, she's ovulating that night. She's going out for girls' night to Vegas that weekend.
That should never happen anyways.
It should never happen anyways, right? Like she shouldn't be asking to do things like that, but you should be aware of, who she is, especially at different times of the month. I talk about that in one of the chapters of the book, by the way, is like, this notion of hypergamy is not just women want to be with better men. It changes in different epochs in their life. It changes in the menstrual cycle and, different times of the month. But it's an interesting phenomenon because they studied, I think, it was grape, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to use that word. I think your audience knows what I'm saying. But women were something like 2 to 3 times more likely to get pregnant in scenarios like that. And also women are significantly more likely to cheat on a man if they go out when they're ovulating. So it's one of those small things. You can do with that information what you want. Just know that it's out there.
Very interesting. So there's a science behind it then.
There's a science, but at the very least, you should know where she's at in her cycle because you're being intimate with her. Are you trying to have kids? You're not trying to have kids? What's the plan? right? Like that's the starting point. The other stuff is like ancillary.
Yeah. How do you see AI playing out with AI girlfriends?
I mean, I get dorks like that sort of thing, but it's not the real thing.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are buying sex dolls, they're getting AI programs, they're talking to their AI girlfriend, they're having sex with a robot. It's never going to replace the real thing, but it's a close enough version. It's a close enough porn's a close enough thing for most guys.
Yep.
Right. So it's like, it's not exactly it, but if you can't get a real girl, then I see why they do it.
Yeah. Can we talk about your book?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Is this out?
It's out. It's been out for about a month and a half. It's on Amazon.
Okay. And it's brand new.
Yeah.
How is this book different from the previous book?
So the previous book I wrote and released in 2018, 2019. The previous book was more a summary of what I had learned the years leading up to that.
Okay.
This book is more specific to managing your life as a top shelf man, how a top shelf man gets what they want out of life. And a big component of that is dealing with women.
Okay.
There's parts in there that talk about wealth creation methods, true wealth creation methods that will make life-changing money. There's parts in the book that talk about AI or how to utilize AI to sort of like leverage your life a little bit better. But a good chunk of the book is dedicated to what women really are and how to manage that relationship over the long haul so that you get more of what you want and that she is also getting more of what she wants.
Got it. What's your thoughts about Rollo Tomasi?
I mean, Rollo's got a couple of good books. His first two books are good. I still recommend that men read them. I don't really have anything else to say beyond that. Have
you had much dealings with him?
I know him well. Yeah.
Okay.
Why, is there a specific question or?
No. I just want to know what your opinion was because you guys are both in the same category.
Yeah, I would tell guys to read his first two books. After that, it's really not necessary. The first two books are probably required reading.
He came out strong. He came out with a bang.
Yeah,
and I feel like he fizzled out.
Well, he's a little bit long-winded, with his presentations and his broadcasts. And I think that you can get to the point a lot quicker and, help more guys if you're more direct and to the point and more of a distiller, which is what I find. I also like to offer prescriptions more. And I think he just sort of talks about the problem more or less, where I like to offer more solutions.
Got it. And men react better to solutions.
We're problem-solving beings, man. We look to solve problems, I think.
I feel like Jordan Peterson has the same thing. He came out with a bang and then he started going weird. Started going a little bit.
A lot of people liked him early on, and even I did too. But, with what I saw, with what happened, with how he managed his daughter and her divorce and her going to see Andrew Tate in Romania while she was getting divorced and he was sick and his addiction to drugs and this guy, it's just chaos. It's like, how can you be a leader of men and set a example if you can't, if your own daughter turns into an absolute thought?
What advice would you have for a man watching this podcast right now and he's making $50,000 a year?
Make more money. That's not enough.
So don't focus on anything. Women, nothing. Make more money.
Learn women, interact with women, but $50,000 in most places in the world, unless you live in some remote village in like Russia and a snow-covered mountain, it's probably not going to do much for you.
Yeah.
Right? True life-changing wealth needs to move. I tell guys, aim to be a millionaire by the time you're 30. And that rubs people wrong a lot of the time. You don't understand money. It's impossible. All the rich people have accumulated it. You don't know anything. You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, blah, blah. I was poor. I was cold in the wintertime. My dad used to take a sheepskin rug and put it on my bed to keep me warm because I wouldn't turn on the heat, right? I didn't have money, but I figured it out. And there's so much money moving out there in the universe today. It's never been easier to, create some value, solve a problem, and then charge a fee for it. So, aim to be a millionaire by the time you're 30. If you miss 30, do it by the time you're 40.
That's fine.